St. Stephen's High School is regarded as the first Christian Chinese school in Luzon, Philippines. Its roots date back to 1903 when the St. Stephen's Church of Manila was established by the American Episcopal Mission in the Philippines, headed by Bishop Charles H. Brent. Initially, it was a night school for young men that opened and operated from 1905 to 1909. It was then when the church leaders among the Chinese congregation observed that there were schools for boys but none for girls. Thus was born the St. Stephen's Chinese Girls' School on July 22, 1917, with its first class of 19 students in the Reina Regente address of the church. Mrs. Edith Studley, wife of the priest in charge from church, was its first principal. At the first graduation exercise in 1922, 8 girls received their diplomas. Mrs. Studley was succeeded after 3 years and onwards by a long line of dedicated principals and directors. Into the 1920s, Bishop G. Frank Mosher continued to recruit new English faculty. Many of them were missionaries who studied the Chinese language and had come out of troubled China. The elementary department became firmly established. As early as 1925, the high school department began to be put in place. It was in 1921 that the lavender skirt and white top became the official school uniform. Students gradually took more active part in church through the choir and Sunday school. The school population reached 305 in 1927. The first batch of Chinese junior class graduated in 1930. The year 1939 saw the school moving to a bigger place in Calle Magdalena, now known as Masangkay Street, occupying the block next to the location of St. Luke's Hospital of Manila, which was also run by the Episcopal Mission. Soon, a mission home, dorm units, and the 15-room structure were set up. The school put on a benefit program at the Rizal Stadium in 1941 to raise funds. Last to rise was a new building on the La Torre side, also in 1941. On December 8th of the same year, school operations came to a halt due to the Pacific War. The school compound was sealed off and the mission house turned over to a Japanese doctor and director of St. Luke's. The new building, still unused, was demolished. Among the school staff, the Americans and British became prisoners of war and were placed at the University of Santo Tomas compound. The school reopened in December 1945 despite the difficulty. The students numbered 500 and quickly grew to 900. Many schools had remained closed after the war, and St. Stephen's had to absorb many of their students, including the boys. This post-war response to the call of the times marked the school's contribution to nation building during that historic period. Rebuilding followed with a 600-seat assembly hall, classrooms, and the play court done in 1949. Next were the covered walks, basketball court, and the 4-classroom annex facing Magdalena Street. By then, the school had officially been renamed St. Stephen's High School, relieving the young male students of the embarrassment of belonging to a so-called girls' school. In 1952, the first batch of English high school graduates received their diplomas. In 1954, the school board formally accepted Bishop Norman Binsted's offer of the St. Luke's compound for use by the school. When the hospital moved to Quezon City in 1959, the old medical building was demolished and the high school department started holding classes at the remodeled nurses' homes. In 1960, the English high school graduating class made it to the top 10% of the national ranking after a government exam. The year 1963 saw the milestone completion of a huge 5-story high school building that came with a spacious lobby. It housed the 1,100-seat auditorium that saw the successful staging of many musical productions and other plays done by the school's drama club. During this time, The Christian Student Center prospered, with students becoming active in organizations for the Scouts, Acolytes, the GFS, Altar Guild, and the Glee Club. By then, the student population had reached 2,500 and grew to 3,400 in 1967. In 1968, the Ching Siok Gyok Memorial Gymnasium was built. A 3-story elementary building was constructed in 1969. The director's quarters in the elementary was used to hold the first nursery class in 1971. The school's student government, known as the Student Council Organization, continued to be a fertile training ground for student leaders from the cream of the crop, as elected by the student body. In 1971, it successfully launched the Campus Mini Fair as an added activity to the annual Field Day sports events. When martial law was declared in 1972, the SCO was renamed CSA, or the Committee on Students' Activities. In 1970, the school became a founding member of the WNCAA, garnering championships in basketball in the junior or high school division. In 1976, the high school Glee Club's female voices under Mrs. Celia Yu Ong became the national champion in the Himig ng Lahi National Choral Competition. In the same year, the school became a Filipino school as mandated by the 1973 Constitution. Chinese class hours were reduced accordingly. In 1982, a new 5-story annex building replaced the old Mosher Hall structure in the high school campus. In 1985, the school, with 21 sets of computers, set off into the world of modern technological advancement as the first computer class was held. In 1987, the school attained the singular honor of being the first Chinese-Filipino school to be conferred the accredited status of its high school department by the Association of Christian Schools and Colleges Accrediting Agency through the Federation of Accreditation Agencies of the Philippines. In 1990, the elementary and preschool departments followed suit, earning accredited status as well. In 1989, the St. Stephen's Learning Center Outreach Program was established. Previously, in 1984, the annual free clinic was organized jointly with the Alumni Association and the parish. In 1991 and 1994 respectively, the new 5-story elementary building topped by the multipurpose Definian Hall and the new preschool building housing the indoor gymnasium completed construction through the generosity of alumni, friends, and parish members. In 1993, the school became a founding member of the Association of Chinese-Filipino Schools in the Philippines. The year 1995 witnessed the landmark decision establishing the SSHS Faculty and Staff Welfare Fund Foundation, which counted on supportive alumni and friends to reach its goals. The upgrading of school facilities continued with the setting up of a speech lab in 1999. In 2001, the Jimmy Go swimming pool became a welcome part of the campus landscape. In 2006, the auditorium at St. Stephen's High School was totally transformed after major redesign and renovation work was done. In the summer of 2010, a multi-purpose hall in the high school building was put up in the former science lab area to better serve the students during lunch breaks. In November 2010, St. Stephen's High School was proudly awarded a 5-year Level 3 accreditation status, the highest level accorded to an institution. Before this development, the school had maintained its previous accredited status in the 2005 resurvey, same as the results of 2000 and 1995. In March 2012, the elementary building's much-awaited new elevator system was inaugurated by the Alumni Association. In July 2012, On the occasion of the school's 95th anniversary, ribbon-cutting ceremonies signaled the completion of major renovation projects undertaken within the year. Inaugurated were the three newly modernized science research, biology, and physics laboratories. Likewise, the recently renovated central office, Office of Student Affairs, school clinic, and conference room. Now celebrating 95 fruitful years of dedicated service by God's grace, St. Stephen's High School, with more than 34,000 alumni in its roster, does not only take on continuous improvement projects of its facilities, but uncompromisingly pursues academic excellence as a teaching institution.